It's your boy Cameron.
And your girl Eden.
And we are back with another video.
Yes.
Look guys, today we're going to be talking about a near-death experience that I kind of experienced back in the day when I was young and dumb and doing a whole lot of different things that I shouldn't have been doing. And the reason why we're talking about that today is because it all took place at a place called Steak and Shake. I don't know if you got that at home, but we're going to be doing a little mukbang.
I've never had... Have I ever had a Steak and Shake burger? I don't think I have.
I don't think you have either.
This is my first time.
But if you guys are new to the channel, make sure y'all click that subscribe button, hit that post notification bell, because we post every single day.
And smash the like button for us.
All right, so did you already eat fries on the way home? Dang, they did our fries. What is up with this?
Oh, these are some skinny fries.
They're skinny, but look at this.
These are skinny fries.
Oh my goodness. Let's go ahead and say our blessings. Father God, in Jesus' name, Lord, we just thank you and praise you always, and just thank you for giving us another day, and pray you just look over us through the weekend. In Father Jesus' name, we say amen.
Amen.
All right.
If y'all know anything about Cameron's past, he got into a lot of trouble.
I got into a lot of fights back in the day.
For days.
A whole lot of fights back in the day. But I'm gonna let y'all know exactly why this particular fight led to something else, and how your boy basically, I punked out. But I punked out for a good reason. I would say punked out back then when I was that young. But now I would have to say it was a smart decision.
Yeah, when you're an adult, it's called making a smart decision. When you're a teenager, it's called punking out.
Exactly. I've got to go ahead and warm this stuff up. You good?
I need some ketchup though.
Okay, I'm gonna warm it up.
Ooh, bacon. Oh, is this mine?
That's mine.
I mean, I didn't get bacon.
All right, everything's all warmed up now, and back to the story I was saying. So back in the day, I used to get into a whole lot of fights. Back when I was young, you know what I mean? Like growing up, like my teenage years, they weren't. Where I'm from, instead of doing all the talking and all that stuff, if you talk, we fight. That's just what we used to do.
Catch these hands.
Catch these hands.
As Cameron always
You used to catch these hands. Easy. Used to catch these hands. And where I'm from, Naptown 317, y'all know how I get down. Now I'm just saying, back where I'm from, like there's a lot of things that are always going on in the city. Everybody's always shooting each other and doing stuff like that. And it's becoming worse and worse. Honestly, Indianapolis has one of the worst murder per capita in the whole entire nation. Yeah, it's crazy.
Hold the world, y'all.
It's crazy. I mean, you hear stories like somebody on Twitter said somebody wasn't a good rapper, so they went and shot the dude, went and shot him and killed him.
People
Teenagers.
are extra sensitive. Like, people out here killing people over like a little insult.
Mm-hmm. So back when I was there and I was growing up, it was no different than that. Either way, I was fearless, like most teenagers are.
Stupid, in other words.
Well, yeah, just stupid. You know what I mean? Like, if I heard gunshots, I would run toward the gunshot because I want to see exactly what's going on over there. And, you know, my mother used to always tell me, bullets don't have a name to it. You can get shot whether you're involved inside the incident or not. So, you're kind of stupid running toward the bullet. But I didn't know no better and wasn't really thinking for myself.
But when you're younger, you don't like think about death on that level. Like death on the level of like, oh, like I could literally like die tonight. Like you just don't think like you can die. It's like this weird irrelevant thing.
It was like, you always wanted to see what was going on. You didn't want to miss it. Like you didn't want to miss somebody being shot. I don't know, it was dumb. It was dumb. Now that I look back at it, and the crazy part is, I don't know. Look, growing up in Nap, and I'm gonna get to the story in a second, but growing up in Indianapolis, every single party that I ever went to ended in gunfire. Whether somebody's getting shot or it's just shots in the air, everybody's fighting always at every single party in high school, middle school, and all that stuff, and it always ended in gunfire the whole time I was there. It got to the point where I actually believed this is what the party life is a result of. It always is going to happen. I did not know that it wasn't like a regular thing until I moved out to California, and I was like, oh, they don't do that out here.
I've never been to a party where a gun was fired.
Mm-hmm.
Never ever. Never I've never even been in the vicinity. Never been to a party, never been to like a club, never been to a bar. I've never been to those places, and they were like,
it happened everywhere where I'm from, y'all. And it's not like something I'm proud of or anything. I wish the gun violence and all that stuff could stop, but getting into the story, I was a hothead. I didn't like people talking about me back when I was younger. So I went to this thing called Black Expo back in the day. It's an Black Expo. It's a place where like me and my homeboys used to get all our outfits together, and you know what I mean, we just stuck the whole weekend. And I used to go down there for the weekends with just my homeboys. We used to get a hotel, and we used to just stunt and clown around, like, you know, doing what boys do, even in middle school, which we didn't have any supervision, which wasn't good, but you know, that's what we used to do back in middle school. But prior to Black Expo this year, or that year, I was like 15, 16 years old. I ended up getting into it with somebody at my job that I was working at, who worked with me too. And he said something about me. Like, me and my friends used to talk about each other. We used to joan on each other back and forth. It was a fun job because it was just me and my homeboys that worked there. But it was some dude that I didn't really know like that, who said something about me, who I just thought it was reckless. So I was just like, hey, what's good then? We can box. You know what I'm saying? And I guess he thought I was playing or whatnot, but he was just like, hey, you know what? He didn't even think I was playing. He was like, bet. Mm-hmm. Right? And I was just like, oh, okay, well, bet then. I got off work first. I went back up to him, and when I got off, and I was just like, what time you get off? He was like, man, I get off at 6:30. I'm like, okay. I'm like, oh, okay. Okay, let's do it then.
What is this?
Mm-hmm. So we set up a little spot at a park to go fight. And like, you know, everybody had to come out, you know what I'm saying? Everybody came out.
Like in a movie, like you set up like a spot to go fight, and you meet at the spot after like work or school, and everyone comes and you fight. It's so like TV show. Everybody
used to fight at the park. Everybody used to fight there. It just is what it is. It was a fighting ground. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I went out there. Make a long story short, I think y'all had already heard that story before. If y'all hadn't, quick summary, let me know if y'all want to hear the full story, if y'all wasn't on that live that day.
Stop me if you've heard this before.
But I ended up getting hit first, but then I ended up winning the fight, whatever. Went about my day, left that fight, and I thought it was all over because I had been getting in fights my whole entire life, and you know what I mean? Honestly, I became good friends with some of the people that I fought in the past, so.
Now that is like 100% a guy thing. When girls fight, you hate each other forever, unless you were already friends.
Dudes, I mean, like, fighting in that just didn't mean, at least I didn't think it meant that much to me back there. And then, and a lot of people didn't mean that much. Like, yeah, we used to box it out, fight, you know, and then be friends the next day, honestly. People that you weren't friends with. So, it is what it is. That happened to me, and I went on with my day. No big deal. And then, back then, MySpace was hot back then. That was the hot social media back then. You remember MySpace?
MySpace is like a slutty Facebook.
Slutty Facebook?
It's a slutty Facebook. That's how I think of MySpace in my head.
You used to have like a top 10, top 15 on the friend list, and people used to get upset if you wasn't on that like top friend list.
MySpace hurt a lot of feelings. MySpace was like more, I don't know. It wasn't friendly. I don't know why, but I just think that MySpace was not a friendly place.
I liked MySpace. I was popular back then, back in the day.
You were probably like, who's gonna be in like my top 5? You're like, you didn't make the cut this week, so wow.
You used to have the music playing when you get in there. It was probably some DK4L.
DK4L?
Or what? Nah. Yeah, DK4L. What?
I'm like, DK4L does music?
Wait, it's not them. Who's that? Laffy Taffy? That Laffy Taffy? Who's that? DK4L.
Like Diara and King?
No, DK4L. Isn't it? Is it not?
I don't know.
Who sang Laffy Taffy?
I have no idea.
Come on now. I'm sorry, I'm gonna look this one up, y'all.
Fun fact about Cameron. He can't let questions go unanswered. Like, if he didn't have like information at his fingertips, I think he'd go mad.
I'm tripping. So yeah, we've been on YouTube too much. So it's not DK4L, it's D4L.
Got it.
Yeah, so D4L, you know, I used to have that playing, you know what I'm saying? And some Mano or whatever, you know, it was popping back in the day. But anyway, a message came in maybe a few weeks later after I got in that fight. And when that message came through, it literally was from somebody I knew. I knew he was kind of a crazy dude. I already knew he ran with, you know, a certain gang or whatnot, right? And, you know, they called themselves, you know, I'm not even going to expose the name of what they called themselves, but they used to call themselves a certain name, and that name, basically, those people actually came out and they did their thing, you know what I mean? They did the shooting. But anyway, he told me straight up, he's like, when I see you, I'm shooting you on sight. That's what he told me in the message. And I'm just like, dang, okay.
Blank gang name coming for you.
Yeah, he said we on your head. That's what he said. He said we on your head, and I'm shooting you on sight. You know what I mean? I'm used to getting the we on your head message, but now I'm shooting you on sight. Especially from somebody who I think possibly really means it, right? So
how old were you?
15, 16.
What does 15-year-old Cameron, when he reads "I'm shooting you on sight," what do you feel in the moment?
I was like, bet. You know what I'm
saying? Bet. Sounds good. Looking forward to it.
I was like, bet. A little bit. I was just like, hey, I hope you get to the gun first. You know what I'm saying? Before you, I don't know. Anyway, that went on. And to be honest with you, I was avoiding him because nobody wants to go to a gunfight for no reason. So I was kind of avoiding him or whatnot. I wasn't running because I was still hanging out in the city, obviously. But I went down to Indianapolis.
Look at him trying to give excuses for why he's avoiding being shot. He has to make up some type of excuse why he's running from a gun. Like, I wasn't really running, but you know. But continue.
So we went down to Black Expo, laid out the outfit, and I'm telling y'all, back in the day, I don't know if y'all was around back in the day, but used to have the Jabot jeans with the stripe on them. Y'all, I had the coldest Jabot jean, red stripe, red Air Force Ones in white, red New York Yankee hat. Y'all, I was fresh. I ain't even gonna stunt. I was fresh that day. But that was gonna be my Saturday fit. I got down there on Friday with all my boys and everything like that. We got checked into the hotel room. And this is just our usual ritual. We did that, then we went to go get something to eat. That night, after we compared outfits and all that stuff.
Doesn't that sound so girly? After we compared.
It does. It does.
After we compared outfits and we settled and thought everyone looked good, we went to go eat.
But it's more like joning on each other. Like joning on each other's outfits. Like somebody, I wasn't gonna tell anybody. I bought my outfit from the flea market, y'all. I bought all my Jabot jeans. I had a whole bunch of Jabot jeans. I got mine all from the flea market.
You ain't a real one.
But I knew what they looked like, the real ones looked like and stuff like that. So you wasn't gonna catch me with the Jabot jeans that the stripe was too low or too high or something like that on a pair of shorts. It shouldn't be at the edge, right? One of the dudes who went down there with us, he had his stripe on the edge. So we clowned him, y'all. We clowned him.
He had a stripe on the edge, y'all.
I think he rolled up his jeans the rest of the weekend so you couldn't even see the Jabot strap.
He made him feel bad.
But he was a real one. I think he got caught for robbing a gas station, like within the same year. Yeah, like I wasn't hanging around with great people back in the day.
Birds of a feather.
But we went to Steak and Shake after we got done comparing outfits like little girls, I guess. And when we went down to Steak and Shake, I'm eating and, we having a good time. We joning on each other, just talking about each other back and forth. I had a friend who, dude was a straight clown. He reminded me of Kevin Hart before Kevin Hart was Kevin Hart. Like, he was crazy funny. Everybody thought he was hilarious, right? But we going back and forth with this little joning session because that's what we used to do. And everybody knows that I used to have a lot of people who wanted, quote unquote, my head. They wanted to bang with me, right? And he's like, and that's why everybody on your head. That's why that person over there looking at you right now, and he's talking about through the window or whatever.
That's so creepy.
Mm-hmm, yeah. He's like, that person looking at you right there, right now, right? And next thing I know, it's like, yeah, they knocking. And then he points at me. He points dead at me, and I'm like, wait, this Jonas session dang near is over. Like, ha ha, he, but that dude actually is looking at me and pointing dead at me, and I don't know who he is. I'm like, who is this guy? What is going on, right? A few minutes later, knock knock, pointing at you. Knock knock, pointing at you. It's more and more people. Next thing I know, it's like 20 to 50 dudes sitting outside pointing at me like, yeah, we got you. And it's not even just teenagers. It's like the real OGs. We got 40-year-olds and 50-year-olds waiting outside for me as well.
This was when he knew he effed up.
And then I saw the dude, and I realized he's dude's cousin that I fought. One of the dudes out there was the dude's cousin that I fought. And I was just like, dang, this is messed up. So I turned to one of my boys, and I'm like, you still got that thing on you? And he was like, nope, that's in the hotel. I'm like, okay. That's when things just got real. I went from laughing to my heart just beating like crazy.
Well,
I'm like,
so it's one thing saying like, hey, I'm coming for you, but now Death is pointing at you through the window. How do you feel? You still like, what's up?
if it wasn't OGs, personally, I probably would have walked outside, banged a little bit, took my L. Because obviously you're gonna take an L against that many people. If I didn't think they was really gonna go for my life, I would have took that L. You know, you can put me in the hospital or whatever. That's what I'm gonna do. You ain't gonna scare me like that, right? I'll take my L. I'll get jumped. I'll get beat up. It is what it is. But I'm not gonna go out there and get shot or stumped out to death. So, crazy thing is, Jonas session's just over, and I'm just like shook now. Great night turned to something else within seconds, y'all. I mean, like a smile to a dude sitting there about to cry. Like I don't know what's going on.
You should be. You're literally about to die.
So I'm over here thinking, and I'm thinking, right? And they all waiting outside, just pointing at me, taking turns pointing at me, right? I'm just like, man, it's a bad situation. Because, like, Steak and Shake has just a whole bunch of windows so you can see right through the whole entire restaurant. And, you know, next thing I know, like, I didn't want to tell anybody that I'm about to punk out, y'all. But at that moment, I knew I was about to punk out. I just needed to figure out how I was going to punk out of there. So, funny thing is, a cop walked into Steak and Shake, and this had to be God, like looking out for me, because the cop walked into the restaurant. I didn't even have to tell my boys that I was about to punk out on this one, right? I didn't tell nobody I was about to punk out on this one. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to put their life in danger either, but they wasn't down for me anyway. They wasn't real ones if I don't hang with them no more anyway.
You punked out. You heard it here first.
I punked out, y'all. I saw the cop, and the cop walked to the restroom when he walked in. So I'm like, this my cue. Like this is definitely my cue right here. I walked into the restroom. He's at a urinal, and I know how y'all, like, if y'all don't know guy code, you don't use the same urinal next to another dude. Like, you don't do that. But in this special scenario, I used the urinal right next to him, y'all. And I was just like, I'm over here holding my stuff. I'm just like, psst, psst.
What up?
You see them guys outside?
Nah, I didn't see him.
Well, there's like 20, 50 dudes outside.
A lot of dudes.
And they all waiting on me.
Are they trying to get you?
Yeah, they trying to get me. And I'm be real with you. I'm afraid for my life.
I got you. I'm gonna clear them out for you.
He asked me what. No, he actually looked at me like, "What you want me to do?" Like, my guy, you a cop. What do you mean? What do you want? Like, you got to do something. Like, you either can walk me out of here or whatnot. No, I think he offered to walk me out, and I said, "Don't walk me out." I was like, "That's gonna make things worse. Like, don't walk me out of here." And I didn't want anybody to know I punked out. So I'm just now coming up and telling this story about how I punked out. People remember the situation, but they didn't know how I got out of the situation and why everybody dispersed.
It's kind of like if you get into a fight at school and like you come like tell your parents and your parents like, oh, I'm about to like call the principal. You're like, don't call the principal. You're like, I'm gonna handle it. Don't, whatever you do, don't tell like the higher.
But this is just a little bit deeper than that.
Yeah.
So the cop went out there and cleared everybody out for me. And when he cleared everybody out, I was like, man, it's go time. It is go. I gotta go. Ran to the hotel like a little punk. And, I lived to see the next day, and I lived to see 30 years old now. You know what I'm saying? I could have died at 15, 16, whatever age I was. I could have been dead. But that goes to show you that young people do dumb things. And it's like, from that point on, my mom had always told me, and I started taking her words in. Like, finally, I started taking her words in. She always told me, fights don't just end when the fight is over.
They don't.
I never believed it. I was like, man, fights end when the fight is over. You know what I'm saying? And that was definitely not the case with this one. Quick little update. Moving forward, like 3 or 4 years after this, I was in college. And when I was in college, I actually saw a news story where the guy who hit me up on MySpace, I'm not saying I was proud of anybody's death, because you would never be proud of anybody's death or anything like that, but it definitely made me feel a little bit more comfortable. Somebody ended up shooting this guy like 16, 17 times in his chest at the gas station a block away from my house at home in Indianapolis.
Might have been looking for it still.
But when I found that out, whew, I was like relieved that I could like really move around like that, because by the time I got to college, I started thinking a whole different way, and I wasn't on the same anger issues that I had or anything like that. I was moving a lot smarter. I was around people. I guess when going to college changed me, not because, a college education, because I don't like the college education system, but
It's another mukbang for another time.
Another mukbang for another time. But what I did learn from being up there with other people was I didn't hang with the best of people in when I was growing up, but these people, I was around people who actually cared about their life and cared about their future. Versus the people where I was at, they just cared about that day, that minute, that moment. And that was a whole different ball game for me. So yeah, that's the moment where I almost lost my life, and I punked out, and I learned and moved on. So any advice to anybody who may be watching this, that fight is not worth it. Just keep moving, y'all. Just keep moving.
Don't
you know what I mean? Protect yourself, but
punk out. Punking out saves lives.
Don't be afraid to punk out. And
it's really not punking out. It's really just like self-preservation.
I would do the same thing.
There's
I would do the same thing if I had to go back in time. Definitely would do the same thing. I don't regret that moment, because that moment is the one that I believe why I'm still alive today.
Right? I wouldn't know him. Wouldn't be married.
Would be no Cammy.
You two. He never would have met the love of his life.
So that's pretty much the mukbang. If you guys enjoyed this, and by the way, Steak and Shake is bomb, y'all. It's definitely bomb. But every time I eat Steak and Shake, this story remains like on my mind, y'all. It just remains there on me. And yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Let us know if you have any crazy stories down below. Let us know if you guys enjoyed this story time. I know it's a little bit different than our regular content, but I would like to share like some of my stories, because y'all might think I'm out here just a clown, like I ain't never been through it, y'all, but I've been through a whole bunch inside my life that I learned from.
He was low-key a thug.
I wouldn't call myself a thug or anything like that. I was somebody who never backed down from stuff. Besides this instance, I was a punk. I guess it's just, but it is what it is, y'all. It was a smart decision looking back at it today. If you guys enjoyed this, make sure y'all smash that like button, and let us know if you want to hear more crazy story time from my past in the future, y'all. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Got a shout out? Yeah, we need a shout out.
I got it. Alright, sorry y'all, but post notification shout out goes to Mopar Driver. Thanks for being part of the squad and watching our videos. And if y'all want a post notification shout out, subscribe, turn on your post notifications, and comment down below.
And until next time, we out.